So, welcome back, everyone, to another exciting episode of the PERRINN 424 podcast. I'm Gaurang Pari, your host, and today we are diving headfirst into a topic that's transforming the world of motorsport as we speak: motorsports in the digital age. So, today with us, we have Nico Perrin, the mastermind behind the PERRINN 424, the visionary who's not just redefining racing, but also how we think about innovation, which is the horcrux of the space. So, Nico, great to have you back. How are you feeling about this topic?
Really good. Yeah, it's really nice to be back. Second episode of our podcast, and as we are really trying to bring unedited content to all the people who are
Yes.
following us. So we are just gonna make it like a nice discussion and keep going. So yeah, very
Awesome.
excited.
Yes. So, just before I dive into the podcast's main topic, so did you get the chance to watch the Daytona 24 Hours? It was streamed live on YouTube. That made it easier for me to watch it. So,
To be
that's
honest,
basically.
I was busy this weekend. I didn't watch. So but how was it?
Oh, it was great. So, like, the main reason I brought it up is firstly because it's the first amazing event, motorsport event of the year, 2025, apart from the Lewis Ferrari event that we have coming in a month's time. The other thing is it's related to the topic itself, motorsports in the digital age, how easily accessible it was for me to watch it, right? It was streamed on YouTube, and it was also streamed in IMSA TV, the website. So I was really glad it, like back in the day, maybe 4 5 years ago, I had to watch through like a Twitch channel maybe or like a Discord channel who had access. But then yeah, like talking about the race itself, it was all about BMW versus Corvette. That's the main highlight. But then yeah, the Porsches took the win, and it was an absolute thriller of a race. But then yeah, you missed it. You need to watch the highlights.
Yeah, I never miss Le Mans 24 hours. Daytona I've been watching
Yes,
a bit in the past, but not this year. Yes,
got
sounds
it.
good.
So moving on, we could clearly see the impact of the digital age through the 24 hours of Daytona, the race itself. Um, so we're going to talk about parent 4 to 4 in the digital era, how it has evolved. And from our like previous podcast, we got to know that parent 4 to 4 was 10 years ahead of its time. At least in your mind, because you had these ideas to execute, and here we are. So over the past 10 years or 8 years, you have used like the digital tools like onshape. They have become very central to the 4 to 4's like design process. So how has using onshape reshaped the way you approach building a hypercar or any sports car which you would want to just develop for a particular race? And also you could probably start with what was the first tool that you used maybe in like designing the car. So yeah, yep,
Yeah, no,
the
thank
floor
you.
is
So
yours.
yeah, digital is we are digital first. Pairing 4 to 4 is digital first. What does that mean? It means digital for me means we remove as much as possible as physical from the physical world, and all we keep are people and software. People and software.
Yes.
That's what digital is for me, and it can, when you do that, amazing things can happen. First of all, the costs are coming down in terms of cost of development, but also communication improves. So you get lower costs of development, faster development
Mhm.
and innovation, but also better communication. You can It's more inclusive as well because you get people from around the world to
Yes.
be involved. So really, this is like the core of the team, of the parent team. Is digital helps us to be a team that that lives on your phone. That's what I said once. The parent team is a team that lives on your phone. You have it in your pocket, and that's the digital age we're in, which is amazing. And I'm really pushing the boundaries with pairing 4 to 4 using digital. So yeah, as an example, OnShape. So OnShape is this amazing design tool in the cloud, in the browser, that you can use on your phone, you can use on any computer,
Yes.
and it
Imagine,
allows.
guys, you have a tool free on the website where you're just designing just a Formula One car of your choice, right? So that's incredible, the accessibility of it. Yeah.
When I discovered Onshape, and Onshape was created about 9 years ago. When I saw Onshape, I thought, okay, we can do the team that I have in mind,
Right,
because we need
right.
that sort of tool. It's a tool where multiple people can design the same part at the same time. It's a database in the cloud. You can visualize the car from any computer. I can go to an Apple store tomorrow and click a button from our
Mhm.
website, and then the design of 424 will appear on all the screens, without
Yeah,
needing any account as well. So it's pretty
absolutely.
amazing. So it enables really that digital team that I am talking about.
Incredible, incredible. Um, so right now, let's just imagine that we are a team racing in the 24 hours of Le Mans. So will the digital first approach still impact the efficiency and the innovation at that point of time as compared to the traditional motorsport like design processes? Do you
Yeah,
think?
it will up to the it will everything will be digital first. So imagine we are at the racetrack at Le Mans. I give you an example. So radio communication between
Yes.
between the engineer and the driver. Currently, it's basically a link directly between the garage and the car. Okay, so and then you can decide to broadcast it if you want, but the link is directly between the garage and the car. What
Right.
PERRINN's going to do is we are going to go a step further. The garage is going to talk to the internet, and the internet's going to talk to the car. Okay, so we are always
Okay.
going through the internet network to communicate, and this way anybody can connect to the team and listen to the radio communications, because the communication
Oh,
goes through our internet network.
that's incredible. Like something funny just occurred in my mind. Like we could have probably heard everything about Toto Wolff and Christian Horner's banter back in 2021 because you would have access.
Yeah,
But yeah, that is incredible. Oh, okay. That's one pointer, guys, to look forward to if Perrin becomes a race team very soon. Um, Now we're gonna dive into a bit of into the world of just the data analytics and AI in racing, right? So as we know, data is the backbone of modern motorsport. So how is Parent 44 leveraging data analytics as our car is currently in the simulation world? So how are we getting all the data and trying to improve what part of the race performance or what part of the car design are we improving?
yeah. Using data is not a new thing. Again, I think the innovation here is how the data goes on the internet with pairing, as
Yes.
opposed to staying on premise or on a small number of computers. So traditional race team is just a small network of computers, and they're sharing the data, and it's protected, and nobody else can access it.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
what we're doing with pairing is the data is sent on to the internet and then redistributed to whoever wants to access the data. So suddenly the team is not just 10, 50, or 100 people. The team can grow to thousands of people. Okay? So
Yes.
this is why we use Onshape. This is why our communication protocol on perrin.com messaging is internet first. So
Interesting.
just for everyone to understand here, the difference between the traditional motorsport and what Perrin 424 does, again, is data goes first on the internet and then redistributed back to the team members. I might be sitting with a team member in the same room, but the data will go first on the internet back to that person, so that everybody else can access it. Okay,
Yes.
that's
I
how
have,
that's how we create amazing innovation opportunities, because more people will access that data.
but do you think that that's a good idea from a race perspective? But there has to be some limitations, right? Or some privacy rather.
Yeah, I mean,
So how are you gonna
yeah,
just tackle
it's
that? Yeah.
effectively some aspects might have to be private and stay private, so we will have to limit. I want as much as possible to be broadcast on the internet.
Got it.
Okay,
Got it. Yeah.
so by default we are broadcasting on the internet, and then if there
Hmm.
is a reason why maybe one of our partners, or there is a reason why we need to keep something confidential, then we will not broadcast. But it's broadcast first. Okay, so that's
Got it.
our
Yeah.
philosophy. Yes.
Got it. So this reminded me of one particular term. It's called BOP, or the balance of performance, and this was probably introduced back in 2017. for the GT3 cars in Le Mans. So is it the same kind of analogy here as well, where all the data is being gathered of all the cars that are participating, so that we have an equal just machinery, so that people can have a good race. So balance of performance, will that be a problem for like current 4 to 4, or will that act to its advantage because everyone has the same data?
So, well, it's different. Balance of performance was a way to reduce costs. That's the first reason, because racing become too
Right.
expensive, and therefore balance of performance allows smaller teams to come and have some sort of guarantee of performance relative to maybe the bigger teams with bigger budgets. So we're
Right.
talking here about a cost problem, which it's really important for me that the way Perrin is going to work and innovate is lower the cost. By the way,
Right.
it's a very important topic these days, because if you follow what's happening in AI, for example, you hear that China is coming with much cheaper way of developing AI than maybe
Yes.
America is doing. So I see America as maybe the traditional established quite expensive way of innovating, and now you see people like
Yes.
China, they're coming with very smart
Cheap
people
is.
and new ways of thinking, and the costs are lowered, which is very good for everyone because it puts pressure on Europe and America to do it better and cheaper.
Right.
So what Perrin
Right.
424 is doing with broadcasting data, open source, is reducing the cost of
Mhm.
innovation. We want to innovate fast. I,
Right.
I want our cars to be the best, but we have to reduce the cost. Everything's gone it's become a little bit too expensive. So to come back to your question, balance of performance is a way that was to reduce costs that the FIA has introduced, but the exchange of data is not between the teams. It's only the team has to give data to the FIA, and the FIA
FIA.
makes some decisions.
Right.
So it's not really. I think it shows just
A
that things are.
concern.
It
Yeah.
shows that things are
It's
too
not a concern.
expensive. Yeah, yeah. So we are coming with a new approach to reduce costs of innovation.
Right, right. I had something in my mind because I was diving deep into just the data universe. Well, you already talked about my next question, which is AI. So AI is definitely having its own turn. I thought AI was the norm, and there's this incredible company called DeepSeek. They just absolutely thrashed every single thing that has been going on in the Silicon Valley. I lost shares, my money with Nvidia, but yeah, it's interesting. So AI is becoming a hot topic across the industries, even in the motorsport world. But how is AI going to be used at Parent 4 to 4? Have you had the chance, or is it going on right now in terms of how we just build the car, or how we are using to improve the simulations?
Yeah.
So if you can just give us a bit of deep dive into AI in Parent 4 to 4.
Yeah, great question. So let me take a bit of time to answer this. So effectively, China DeepSeek versus America OpenAI, very expensive. I compare this to the PC moment. So before PCs, they were mainframe, very expensive computers, very big, and then PC
Yes.
arrived, cheap, much cheaper, more accessible. So America really is still on the mainframe sort of way of working, and China is coming
Oh.
with like the PC solution. It's cheaper. It might not be as powerful, but very very close, but much cheaper. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What we are doing with Perrin 424 is exactly that for the motorsport industry. We are going from mainframe. I see the established big organizations, running on a very heavy protocol and processes, very expensive. And we're coming
Right.
with Perrin 424. It's a much more lightweight organization. It's a network as opposed to a closed organization. It's distributed. It's using internet as its foundation. There's no,
Right.
big building somewhere. It's the internet is our foundation, and using open source again to reduce cost. So see Perrin 424 as a way to transform, to effectively go from mainframe to PC in the motorsport industry. Now, how do we use AI at Perrin 424? I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited about this actually. We have, again, because of our open source approach, our simulation is available on GitHub for free on the internet. There's a small team in America of very good AI machine learning experts that have taken our
Mm-hmm.
simulation and created effectively an autonomous driver, a driver model using
Oh,
AI
okay.
technology. And at first, I was not sure it was gonna work. To be fair, because I've seen people trying in the past, and it's very difficult. And
Yeah.
in a matter of a few weeks, these people have created a driver model that can drive 4x4 around the Nürburgring at actually the same speeds of our human driver.
Oh, wow. Well, what was your first reaction? Were you
I
happy, excited, or were you just like,
very
no, I don't like this?
very excited because I understood how they've done it and it's very smart and it works.
Hmm.
But straight away I was like, okay, how can we scale this? How can we use this? Because we don't want to just do a stunt and show that once we can create
Yeah.
an AI driver, we also can we use this to actually help develop the car? Can we use this
Right.
to speed up the innovation process? And the answer is yes. So I've
Hmm.
already asked these people to do another, train another model when the car is a bit heavier by 10 kilos, for example, and tell me how much slower it's gone around the lap. And they've came up with the answer that I was expecting, which is about 1 second, which for
Oh,
me was a
wow.
proof that it works.
It works.
So now we can use this methodology to do other tests. And what it means is instead of having to ask maybe our drivers to do certain tests, we can use the AI driver to do it.
I was just gonna say that effectively you've got yourself an AI like test driver who's gonna do all the
That's right.
hard work for you.
It's early days.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of time to train. I still feel
Yes.
like it's quicker for a human to jump in a simulator and drive at the moment, but I can see the potential of it getting quicker and quicker. And suddenly you can do things in less time than currently with humans. So it's kind of exciting.
Incredible,
Yeah.
incredible. Uh, what do you think about the simulator that you're using? I think you're using currently a Dynasma, is it? Your
So
partner?
we yeah. So we have Dynisma is this extremely realistic motion simulator that Formula One teams are using. So very
Yeah,
expensive.
Scott Mansell had talked about it in his video. I think I saw it like a week ago. It
Yeah,
was incredible.
yeah. Driver 61 did a really good video about it. So we have a partnership with Dynisma. Dynisma logo is on the virtual car, the 424.
Yes.
And we have our simulation that Eddie has built with us on Unity and
Hmm.
that the simulation that is available on GitHub for free. That very
Right.
software can drive a simulator like Dynisma. So we've been with the team last year and driven
Wow.
4 on the simulator. The same software also drive a much smaller simulator like the one that you've seen on social media, the one I have built,
Yes.
which is like a small static sim racing type simulator for
Oh,
less
wow.
than that costs less than $10,000, and
Right.
it's the same software, and I've got it here, and I can drive 4x4 this way. So the 4x4 simulation works on any platform. From it can run on my laptop, it can run on a small rig, it can also run on the biggest simulator in the world like Dynisma.
That is just incredible. Like, wow. I'm just trying to just like wrap around my thoughts into so many just possibilities of all this. And I just have one question, and that is, how does this sound? Do you want the AI like the test driver to ever come onto the real racing grid, or do you want the AI test driver to just be there in the testing, just like the scenarios, and be let the humans do the racing? What are you
Yeah,
views on that?
so my philosophy is, AI will never replace humans. In fact, it's just a tool to help developing the car.
Right.
I believe that at the end of the day, what we're creating is a network of really talented people, experts, and I love, the very direct human interaction online that we
Yes.
have in the team,
Yes.
and actually having experts who really are good at what they're doing and creating amazing tools or doing, marketing videos like we are doing. Basically, a group of people who are really reactive and work well together. And also it's a lot of fun. So
I agree.
we don't want AI to replace everyone, because at the end of the day, it needs to be a social experience. We want people to come together. That's the team, right? And
I'm
also
I'm
for
glad.
the We don't want to
because
go away, do we?
there has been a lot like a lot of talk about it. Well, AI just taking over humans in terms of not only racing but in every area of the world, and it's just like silly. We are always going to be above, and we're going to use AI to evolve ourselves rather than evolve AI itself.
That's right.
And then, yeah, it sounds promising. A lot of work going on, and I think my question was a pretty like basic one because AI is already heavily involved from your answers. So, well, now we move on to our fans. How because the whole idea of the digital platform is being even more closer to our fans
Yeah.
and the audience that we cater to, right? So one thing that sets apart Parent 424 is its inclusivity, and we talked about this on our the first episode of the Parent 424 podcast. So how are you using this particular digital platform to involve fans and partners in your incredible journey?
Yeah, the vision I have and what I want to create is this experience for people where they can be inside the team with us.
Yes. Yes.
We are a team is coming from that. I was extremely fortunate to work for, world class teams in Formula One at Le Mans and be inside the team with the headsets on, with the radio and hearing that
Mm.
communication between the car and the engineers. And I want people to be able to experience this from the inside. When you feel like you're
Yes.
belonging to a team, like you belong to a family. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's the culture we are creating at Perrin. And that's the culture that I have put forward 10 years ago. And all the people who are working together at Perrin on a weekly basis, daily basis, I know they feel that culture and they enjoy it. And anybody is welcome to join. So
Lovely.
at the end of the day, again, as I said, it's a team that lives on your phone. So you can, as long as you've got perrin.com on your phone, we also have a WhatsApp community that you can join for free. And then the social media we do on LinkedIn and on YouTube. But I think social media is not necessarily giving you the maybe the impression that you are inside the team. So we want to go further. And to
Yes.
go further, we need to have the perrin.com will become a bit like a WhatsApp app
Yeah.
just for the team, and anybody will just be able to be there. Okay, so imagine a
Lovely.
place where the door is always open. You can just come and you can just see what's going on.
It's
And
like from my own personal experience. As a kid, I used to watch. So whenever I used to watch the race, I will not tune in to watch from just the lights out and away we go. I would watch the pre-race show, I would watch the post-race show, and I will wait until everything is over, the post-race interviews. So how much involvement is there, possible? And I still feel just like a bit very disappointed, as in, oh, I wish I could have a bit more of the content. Oh, I wish I had a bit more of the involvement, right? So I can see what Parent Protocol is trying to do, wherein you're trying to keep the fans involved throughout the whole process, throughout the journey, and that is really commendable. So yeah, good stuff.
also, we call people fans, but I think we need a new name
I think you
because people,
use it in
I can
your
see
posts.
I
We
can
are a
see
team.
we are a team. At the end of the day, I can see a situation where followers or that are really following what's going on. By the way, when we start building the car, everything will be so much more exciting because there will be every day nearly there will be activity,
Updates.
there will be things happening in the team. But
Yes.
imagine a situation where suddenly we need some help with logistics, for example, because some parts are built in a certain country and we need to get them in the UK. And I feel like people could help us with this, for example. There might be a
Absolutely. Yeah.
situation where we need something or we need some help from people who are in a certain location in the world, and suddenly somebody will say, "Yeah, I'm there. I can do it for you."
Yeah.
That's the experience that I want to create, and I think it's gonna be fun.
Possible. 100%. It is going to happen. It's not possible anymore. It is going to
It's
happen.
gonna
Like I
happen
can see it.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Absolutely beautiful. Uh. So to this scene, what kind of feedback or interactions you look forward to, or have you ever like received from your fans or followers who are part of this journey or the process? Because parent.com is open, and I'm pretty sure you must have had some moments wherein people are reaching out to you and saying, "Hey, I would love to help you in this particular process or the project bit." Has it ever happened to you? Do you look forward to the feedbacks?
You know, Garang, I mean, I launched the concept, yeah, 10 years ago, 2014.
Yes.
Um, I don't know how many people are offering help, but I've been offering help over the years, but it's many, many, many people,
See.
messaging saying how they love the concept, they want to be involved, they want to help. Obviously, not everyone can design the car, for example, not everyone
Yeah.
can be involved in the stage we're at, which is digital. But again, I've always said keep following, and then you can contribute later, or maybe just keep following and have fun doing that. And
Yeah.
the feedback has always been really amazing. I'll be honest, at the beginning, you know how it works. People got really excited and they're like, when are we going to see the car? When is it going to be built? People want to see something real, physical.
Yes. Yes.
And I said, look, it's going to take time because to raise funds and money for such a project takes time. And also, we were a little bit early on the technology, like the battery that we needed and the electric
Yeah.
powertrain. So we just needed to accept that it takes time. And I
Hmm.
can tell you one thing, Gorang, is that we are reaching now the point where we are getting really, really close to finally switching to what I call the physical phase of the project when we're going to start building the
Oh,
car.
yes. Yes.
And all I know is the day that starts and we start like putting much more content. And also people realize it's not just a concept. It's not
Anymore.
just a vision. It's actually something real. We are gonna go there and break this record. We are gonna build a car.
Yes.
We're gonna go there together to the track, and we're gonna break the record. And when that happens, all that process in the physical phase, I think it's gonna be quite amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing it organically, gradually. The team's gonna really build up nicely as that network that I have in mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's great to see that you've been receiving the feedback, and it's always overwhelming to see the responses. And I'm glad that we've already built this amazing community who not only wants to follow but also wants to involve themselves in whatever way
Yes.
possible, right? The other interesting aspect of the digital platform, especially in the motorsport world, is the esports and the virtual racing. Initially, it had a bit of a backslash as to people who drive or practice or whoever is the esports like champion. No, they can't race in the real world, but that has changed over time, and it's because of how esports and virtual racing are making motorsports more and more accessible. You don't have to rent a car to go and race out there. You just need a sim. Of course, it's going to cost you a bit, but it's a fraction of what happens when you actually rent a car and go through a racing season. So, what are your thoughts on this trend? And do you see PERRINN 424 exploring this space? Because I can finally start my esports racing career if that is going to happen.
I'll tell you one thing. We're already completely invested in esports, not so much on the racing side, but on the way we develop the car. It's really using software and simulators coming from esports.
Okay.
So the simulation we have, even though that simulation we have is well, the track model, for example, of the Nürburgring was taken from similar models that are used in racing games. Okay.
All right.
The software, some of aspects are also linked with the racing games that people can use
Mm-hmm.
every day. The simulator that we built is using the steering base and the pedals from sim racing, and the reason is because the esport industry has become so professional and so high quality that
Yeah.
the hardware and software they're using is getting very, very close to what traditional motorsports is using to develop cars. So
Right.
as esport is going up in quality and the cost is still very reasonable, and the top end of motorsport is too expensive, there is a moment where the two are meeting, and it's happening. I can tell you that because I'm still involved at the very high end of motorsport, Formula E, and I can see
Yes.
what's happening. And there is more and more an intersection between esport and traditional motorsport. And then on the driving side, I'm totally sold on the fact that you can learn to drive a race car using simulation. And I have many examples in my head of I've seen people driving simulators for years, and then they go and drive a race car, and they're very good at it straight away. So it absolutely translates, and that's why
Right.
424 is being driven in the virtual world up to this point. And I can tell you I really trust the process, because
Yeah.
that's the process that works in esports. Yeah.
Incredible, because I obviously had this dream of okay, if not real racing, I can do the esports way. But life happened, and then maybe I have a chance now through the Parent 4 to 4 esports
Drive
opportunity.
424
And
on your simulator and see how close you get.
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely right. So looking ahead, how do you see the technology just continuing to reshape motorsports in the next decade? And at the same time, I feel like Parent 4 to 4 is doing more for this particular innovation, which is in the digital age. And Parent 4 to 4 is leading the way. I can't think of any other company right now who is doing such amazing things. Things like the PRN tokens, just for being part of the project, you can um, be a part of Parent 4 to 4 by buying PRN tokens and also contributing to the project. So if there's one just takeaway for our listeners about Parent 4 to 4's approach to innovation, what would it be?
Well, again, I want people to understand what we're doing is going to allow lower cost of innovation, and we need this because the traditional way of innovating is become too expensive, and racing is too expensive, and that's
Yeah.
why we need to change things. And also faster innovation and better innovation. So again, digital, we talked about digital, better communication, letting people just be wherever they want, as opposed to
Yeah.
asking everyone to come in one location. That already saves a lot of cost. It's better for everyone, right? Uh, so digital allows this. Open source, if you use it well, allow better innovation. By the way, we see that in the AI industry. The very
Yes.
reason why China's come up with such a
Yeah.
good, cheap product is because they've been using open source quite a lot. So I
Yes.
see the moment where open source is going to have a great time in the next few years. I see a moment where open source finally going to have a really good time in motorsport. Even in the most competitive environment like motorsport, open source has got a
Yeah.
space. Because at the end of
Yes.
the day, the best innovators will still remain the best designers,
Exactly.
and the best team will still be
Yeah.
the best group of the best people. Okay. So we want to lower the cost, we want to increase accessibility for people to follow and then engage and contribute and then become even engineers and drivers from any origin, and so the most diverse team you can imagine. So that's what
Yes.
we are doing with Perrin 424. Yes.
That's amazing. So, Nico, this has been such an insightful and a conversation. The world of data, as we know it, is incredible, and the world is getting to know about it, and we are just a small, part, and with the hope of contributing massively, right?
Yes.
And from digital tools and data analytics to fan engagement and virtual racing, where hopefully I can start my career in racing. But it's clear that
Yes.
Parent 4 to 4 just isn't keeping up with the times. It's shaping the future of motorsports. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and expertise with us today. Well, to all our listeners and viewers, thank you for tuning to the second episode of the Parent 4 to 4 podcast. If you want to be a part of this journey, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more such exciting stories and episodes. And as always, keep dreaming and racing towards the future. See you next time.
Thank you, Gorang. See you next time. That was a lot of
Bye
fun.
bye.
Bye bye.